This episode of the Nerd Rage Renegades podcast is brought to you by Photor. Photor Web, an online photo editing service free to access, but with premium features and assets.
Nerd Rage Renegades.
Welcome to the Nerd Rage Renegades podcast. Chief, this, my friend, episode 190.
Closing in on that 200, man. That's a lot of think about that. That's a lot of years of us doing this every single week.
You know,
and traveling and doing other shit like the cons and shit like that.
I mean, it seems like only yesterday you and I were sitting there going, we're going to start our own show after, everything that happened with the old show. It really doesn't seem like it's been as long as it has. It doesn't feel like it's been 190 episodes, but...
Almost 5 years now?
Yeah, but think about
in
that time, what Cool Beer has been on every 25, so that's what, 25, 50, 75, 100, 125, 150, 170. He's been on 7 times already. Coming up, he'll be on his 8th time.
Yeah. And we can't wait. That's it's like a holiday for us here when Cool Beer shows up.
That's 7 times with Cool Beer. What, like 5 or 6 with Mark Ordesky. Dolly's been on twice. Jessica Cameron's been on twice. James has been on 3 times. It's just incredible to think 190 episodes. All the people that have come through are
technically Brad was on twice, but you just didn't hear the first one.
Yeah, you didn't hear the first one. But just to think that we have been 190 episodes so far, and no, we are not stopping. There is absolutely no onlook of stopping, ever. We will hit episode 1000. We will be Action Comics. Hopefully. Now, at that point, Chief and I are probably going to be geriatric in the nursing home.
They'll just be yelling offensive shit. Like, everyone.
Tonight on the Nerd Rage Renegades, they didn't give me my pills. I'm supposed to get a blue one, and a red one, and the pink one, and they only gave me the green one. And they said that the green one is the blue and the yellow one together. That don't that don't go like that.
They said I could have pudding. They lied.
They didn't give you. They gave me tapioca. I don't like that tapioca. And my grandkids ain't coming to see me this month. I know they out there. They just need to come and see me. Come and see Grandpa, and go. We will reminisce. I got hard candy, and I got some. I got some Ludens. I got some Ludens cough drops. The kids, they love them Ludens cough drops. And I got this key. I don't know where this key went to. Oh, I remember. It was 1955. We had to say dickety because the Kaiser stole our word 20. I chased them for dickety 2 miles to get it back. Oh man, I can't wait for those days. It is.
I can wait for that.
those in the words of Dennis Leary, those are the adult diaper kidney dialysis years. You can have those years. I don't fucking want them.
The only positive thing is you can do whatever you want. When you're that old, you can just do whatever the hell you want. You don't. Who cares?
Yeah. So I've found this drink this past week, Monster Hydro. So Monster's now making like
is that a clear can?
Like what? Yeah, it's plastic, but it's a clear plastic, but it's got the
okay
on the top.
I thought they had invented Scotty's clear aluminum at first.
So this is like water. It's bottled water, but they added like flavors to it. This is Mean Green. This is Mean Joe Green right here. He threw his jersey at me, and
that reminds me of something. Remind me in a minute when you're done.
Okay. It tastes like lemonade. Honestly, it tastes like lemonade you left out for like a day, and then you go back to drink it. It's not bad. It's not bad. It's water. Shit. What were you thinking of when I said Mean Children?
There's a movie on. I think it's I think it's on Amazon Prime, and I'm trying to see if I can find it, but I can't remember the title of it. But it's a I watched it, and the movie it's about a motorcycle gang, and it stars Joe Namath, the football player, and it is so bad. It's so funny. I've been watching it a lot because I've been sick and I've been laid up in bed. I was laid up in bed for like probably 4 days.
More than that.
In a row.
You've been out for like weeks. You've been able to crawl out to do like the show, but other than that, you've been down. I've been worried about you.
I've gotten a lot better, and I went out and I tried to sweat the rest of it out doing yard work, which was a mistake. But I mean, I'm in that part where I don't feel bad. I've got a lot of, I'm just like coughing a lot and getting a lot of stuff out of my head. But it's not like I don't feel sick or I'm not running a fever or anything. I just got a lot of shit to cough out of me.
Right.
But I've been laying in bed and I've been watching like tons and tons of movies, and I streamed all of Lemony Snicket while I was sick. I watched all of that.
That's a good show. I have to admit, that is a damn good show.
I like it a lot. It's pretty good, and definitely like the movie with Jim Carrey doesn't do that series justice. Like
No.
the Netflix series is pretty awesome because it's more about, it's like a spy story and like a secret organization story. It's not really just a guy trying to.
It was like the movie tried to cram 3 books into one movie, right?
Yeah, and the Netflix series does like 2 episodes per book.
Yeah, so I think that gives it a little bit more time to, to actually feel like you're getting something out of the books, because you got like each episode is an hour long.
Yeah, like 47 minutes.
Yeah, so you're getting one. So if it's like 40 minutes, that's 80 minutes of one book, which is not bad to tell the story of the book.
Yeah, well, I mean, you got to think for how many pages there are of that's a lot of description that you can see visually that they don't need. So I mean, it's pretty easy to condense a book, especially the size of a Lemony Snicket book. You can condense that in 80 minutes, no problem.
Yeah, I mean, those books started it's like any good book. Like they start like the first book is usually like small, and then as the series goes on, the book gets thicker and thicker. I mean, Harry Potter did that. Like if you look at Sorcerer's Stone compared to the Deathly Hallows.
Yeah.
Those books are like night and day. But I like that series. First of all, Patrick Warburton, it cracks me up.
Yeah. His little intro things are good. Nathan Fillion was in this season playing Lemony Snicket's brother.
Like I said, you got to check out Santa Clarita Diet with him in it. It's hilarious.
Oh, the other I've been watching, and I've watched like a ton of like independent like foreign horror movies on Netflix, and there's a lot of really good ones on there, man. I was really surprised. I just went to the horror, like looked up the horror category, just like and went down the list of everything. I think I've watched every single horror movie on Netflix.
Did you watch Friend Request?
No, because I've seen the review of that and it looks like a piece of shit. I watch good horror movies.
Let me guess,
Netflix.
You watched Phalus's review of Friend Request.
Yes, but I watched good horror movies. I watched like stuff that I didn't watch any I didn't watch any
nothing
mainstream
like mainstream stuff. All like
a lot.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, a lot of the stuff that was on there was stuff I either seen already, like on demand or something, like a newer mainstream movie, like a lot of like Lights Out and stuff. I've seen that. I went to the theater and see that.
Right.
Saw that with my mom. But like a lot of the independent stuff that I'd never heard of, I just looked for stuff I'd never heard of and checked it out for 5-10 minutes, and if I liked it, I stuck with it. And I saw a bunch of really good ones. There's one called like When Animals Dream or something like that, and it's a werewolf movie from like Scandinavia or somewhere, like Norwegian werewolf movie. But it's pretty good. It's like it's not really found footage, but it's kind of shot that way, kind of shaky cam. But it's not a found footage thing, but it's pretty damn good. And there's a couple of them from Mexico that were like. Kind of like Blair Witch, Paranormal Activity kind of found footage movies, like ghost movies, which I dig all those. I don't know why.
Like the Wreck movies, or
well, not really. No, well, yeah, kind of. They're kind of like that, but with like ghosts instead of like mutated rabid people.
Yeah.
But Pretty good shit. I love that. That's like a guilty pleasure of mine. I fucking love like haunted house movies and ghost movies. And like especially found footage. I don't know why I love found footage movies so much, but it's just something that's real about it because it kind of brings you down to like this is just some dude filming this on his phone or whatever. And there's
Shot
some
on video movies.
Yeah, but there's something real about it because it's like that's what And then they try to keep them somewhat within the realm of reality for the first 45 minutes or so, and then something bonkers goes on, and it's pretty cool to see like shot on somebody's iPhone to see some of like and of course that's bullshit and phony, and that's what every ghost video on YouTube is too. But I'm still fascinated with those too. I'll watch all those top 10 ghost lists and shit. I love that shit. But
I like the top 10 pimple poppers.
I don't know
like
that
the
one.
girl,
What is that?
like the girl on the lawn chair, and she has to drink the Fireball before they pop her fucking pimple.
Oh God, that's horrible.
It's so fascinating. It's refreshing.
Oh God.
I've actually been going back and watching My Name Is Earl because it's on Hulu, and I love that show.
Notch Johnson.
And you had to remind me of my hatred of my arch nemesis, Carson Daly. Fucking dick.
Well, I mean, that's like the whole first year of the show. There was a Carson Daly hate stream that went on through the show.
Fucking hate that motherfucker. That dude single-handedly destroyed MTV with Total Request Live, and I don't know why anyone would want to date that dude or marry that dude. Because I mean, think about it. You date that guy, you're gonna end up a druggie, you're gonna get a botched boob job, and you're gonna star in the Sharknado movies. That's your future if you date or marry Carson Daly. That fucking... And how did he get a late night show?
One man's trash. One man's trash, though. Somebody might want to do that.
How the fuck? This is my question totally. This is like my whole question of the world, okay? One, how the fuck does Carson Daly end up hosting a late night show? And how does fucking Jimmy Kimmel go on his fucking show and tout about equality when his show used to be girls jumping on trampolines? The dude hosted the man show where it was all man shit, it was all misogyny and big old boobies, and all of a sudden he's on TV now like, we have to be nice to each other, and look at me, I got fat and I have a beard now, but everybody loves me. Oh, now let's watch celebrities read mean tweets.
He actually lost a bunch of weight. He's really thin and kind of weird looking now.
Yeah, well, whatever.
But
he still pisses me. You know,
I think he's in a lot of. I think he's in a lot of shit about that.
Carson.
I think a lot of people are bitching for that very reason. About Kimmel used to like pretend he was grabbing girls' asses.
You know who I miss?
And he's talking all this other shit. No.
You know I miss? Craig Ferguson. I miss Craig Ferguson. You know why? Because Craig Ferguson, he would be raunchy, but it was like that like suave, classy raunchy. Like what? Well, it's like he's Scottish. You know, it's like he's just fun. You know, but like Jimmy Kimmel and Jimmy Fallon, I just...
There to me was nothing funnier in the world than like the first 10 years of Late Night with David Letterman. That was the first 10 years of that show where he did like the Velcro suit shit, and he would like still, when he would personally still go out and do remote camera stuff and not send some like studio guy out to do it or whatever, he would personally go out and like he'd be like Mr. Curious. And he'd stand on a street corner, and somebody'd walk down the street with a shopping bag. He'd be like, "What's in the bag?" And he'd like make them like empty their whole shopping bag on the street. Like when he did shit like that, man, there was nothing funnier than Letterman at the time.
I loved Carson because Carson, you never knew what comedian. He always had a comedian on. I mean, Johnny Carson is where we found comedians. You know, that's where a lot of comedians got their start, was on Carson. And I loved people would just, like I think I've said it before, Peter Falk would just walk into the studio because they filmed Columbo like on the soundstage next to Johnny Carson. So Peter Falk would just walk over in costume, like on his break from shooting, he'd just walk in on Carson and just sit down and talk with Johnny. You know, that was the show. Now it's like, I don't like, people are going on and I'm like,
it's a completely different age, man. Like back then, Carson and Letterman, like Letterman, like Carson more so, and before him it was like Jack Parr and guys like that were like these classical comedian guys that did the Tonight Show.
Yeah.
And then like after a while through like late 70s, Letterman came up, and then through the 80s, Letterman had his show on after Carson, and there was like nothing that was like the late night talk show was a really powerful format at one time. I don't think it has the same power that it did then. Like, I don't think Fallon has the charisma or the star power of Johnny Carson.
Do you remember Carson? He had an ashtray on his desk.
Yeah, well, everybody smoked. Like, guys like...
Everybody smoked.
Like, actors at the time, whoever was at the time would smoke. They'd come out and smoke on the show.
Come on and smoke.
Carson used to smoke on the show.
Yeah, all the time. You don't get that shit anymore. And let me explain why. Because people are going to ask me, Spin, why do you think Carson Daly destroyed MTV? I'm going to tell you why he destroyed MTV. Total Request Live. That show was an abomination of everything with the music industry. The day they said, we are going to premiere the new Metallica video. Now, granted, this video was for Until It Sleeps from the Load album. Yes, we understand Load was not their best album. They had some good songs on Load. Granted, they had there was some good songs on Load, like 2x4, The House That Jack Built. I like those songs. But they're like, we're going to premiere Until It Sleeps, the new Metallica video. I'm like fucking going nuts. I'm like, yes, new Metallica video. They start the video. Like, literally 15 seconds comes up this little box, and it's like this teenage girl going, oh my god, I love Carson Daly, and I can't wait for Britney Spears, ah! And I'm like, shut the fuck up. James Hetfield is fucking making the music the whole world listens to right now. And then they don't even play the full fucking music video. They played like a minute of the music video and cut it off, but they'll play like the entire music video of Baby One More Time or fucking Oops I Did It Again or whatever new Backstreet Boys shit. And there's always these little fucking teeny boppers screaming their fucking heads off, and Carson Daly's sitting there like a fucking turd in the fucking turd bowl, in the punch bowl. He's like, hey, welcome to Total Request Live. And then you gotta wait until fucking like midnight for Matt Pinfield to come on to play some good shit, or you'd have to go over to MTV2 to watch anything that actually remotely resembles a music video. And then it was because of that we started getting Real World and Road Worlds, and that led to, what is it? I'm a teenage mom or something like that. Teen mom. And we're glorifying teenage mothers on this fucking MTV. It was bad enough with Total Request Live that I switched over to pop-up fucking video on VH1, and I learned so much. That was a great show. You learned so much from pop-up video, man. And that show was great because they played the full fucking video. The full fucking video. Even the fucking, they played Michael Jackson. Guess what? It was all 30 minutes of the Michael Jackson music video. It was Michael Jackson sitting there with Magic Johnson in the Egyptian uniform and King Eddie Murphy, and frickin' he's singing, do you remember the time? All of it. And then he would and then he turned into the Panther, and he smashed the car, and he was like, oh, and he grabbed his crotch. That was fucking awesome.
With MTV, like, you couldn't, I don't know if kids even watch MTV. I would think it's mostly like 20-year-olds watching those dumb, like, college shows and Teen Mom and shit like that. It just doesn't resemble anything like it did. When I was growing up, like, every kid, every teenager, even parents watched MTV all the time. And they played music, like, all the time. And then you get, like, MTV News, like, every couple hours or every hour.
Yeah, what's his face? The old guy. He was like...
Kurt Loder.
Kurt Loder. He was, like, 70 years old.
But you would get, like, music. And then when they started doing, like, I used to love it. Like kids today won't even know what you're talking about. You say, MTV used to be good. You don't realize MTV used to be really good. And it's like, you used to get, like, Liquid Television, Alex Winter's Liquid Television, or not... Alex Winter's Idiot Box, and then they had Liquid Television was a different show. But it was all animation and like comedy skits with Alex Winter. Then they had like the MTV half-hour comedy hour, which they don't have anymore. It was just stand-up comedy for a half hour.
Late night you would have in succession, you would have Beavis and Butthead, Max, and Aeon Flux.
Man, there was nothing funnier than the first couple of years of Beavis and Butthead.
Oh, God, no. And Beavis and Butthead... What I love about Beavis and Butthead is even though you didn't get the full music video, you got some awesome fucking music videos on that fucking show. And and even when they would play I think they played Blind Melon on there one time. The girl in the bee costume.
Yeah.
And Beavis and Butthead were like, what? Like they were like mesmerized. They didn't know what to make of this Blind Melon music video. And
there were so many good ones, like the music videos.
The one that sticks out of my mind is the dude that was running and he's like on fire. I forget what artist it was, but it was a music video and a guy was running on fire. And Beavis the whole time is just like, fire, fire.
I thought the Grim Reaper videos are always funny when they show that guy's face, but it's just like, this guy's whole head just sucks. Like that one is funny, and there was one other one is we're out there watching Judas Priest, and it was the like breaking the law or was it?
It was breaking the law because they started going, breaking the law.
There's like at the end of it, Butthead's like somewhere in it, Butthead says, "See you in hell, Rob Halford."
But see, then you would get the Max, based off the Image book, the Max, and it was so like trippy and surreal, like the book comic was, and it was just like you watch the Max, you're like, what the fuck am I watching? And then Aeon Flux, and Aeon Flux was just this awesome.
Yeah, I'd watch that and be like, what the hell is going on? I don't even know what's going on. But you're just
sitting there like, it's this big boobed woman fighting things, and it wasn't freaking Charlize Theron Charlize Theron, later on. But then they came out with Daria, and Daria was okay. Daria was good. It was fine. No Beavis and Butthead, but it was fine. But nowadays, I don't know. Whenever I hear Dire Straits, and they go, "I want my MTV," I cry because I'm like, I can't have my MTV. I cannot have my MTV back.
No,
I can't.
It's gone. It's gone for good.
It's like
next
on music television, Teen Wolf.
It's cool. Like that's a generation that just has that thing, and nobody's ever going to experience that again. That time.
You remember when the VMAs, the Video Music Awards, it was like now performing at the VMAs, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers.
Man, there was so many fucking through the years. It's ridiculous. Like some of the gun. I remember one time they played just a Guns N' Roses concert from a club. Just played the whole concert live and showed it on TV. They all the big festivals they would show live and broadcast live from, and you'd get to watch the whole thing from your couch.
MTV Unplugged, where they would have Nirvana and them play an acoustic. They were playing an acoustic set. Some of the biggest albums of like MTV Unplugged Nirvana was one of the biggest albums of all time.
That was a great one too.
That was a great one, because you know why I think that one was great? Because you could understand Kurt. Acoustically, you could understand his lyrics, But
you gotta feel it, man. You feel it.
You gotta feel it right here, man. In Bloom, come on, right there. And what was also great about MTV is they would play Weird Al Yankovic videos on MTV. Weird Al came out with something. I remember watching Amish Paradise on MTV when it came out. And it was this huge thing.
Well, there was nothing on. Speaking of Weird Al, nothing was bigger on MTV than the Thriller video when that came out. The Thriller video. I used to go to my grandma's house. I didn't even have MTV when I was growing up. We lived out in the country growing up, and they couldn't even get cable out there.
Wasn't Billie Jean the first video played on MTV?
No, it was the first one I think on there was called "Video Killed the Radio Star," which was pretty fitting.
I remember Billie Jean was huge. I remember Billie Jean was huge on MTV when that came out.
Well, yeah, but when Thriller came out, that video was 13 minutes long or something, really long video, maybe 20 minutes long.
Vincent Price was in that video,
and it had the Rick Baker zombie makeup and the werewolf thing and it was just an intense video. I was a little kid when it came out, and I remember when we go to my grandma's, I would just sit in front because she was the only person we'd go to her house that had MTV. So I'd go there and put it on TV and just sit and wait for the Thriller video, just because I was so into that, the makeups and the monsters in it and shit.
I mean, despite what happened in his personal life and all that scandal, when it came to music and music videos. Man, there was no better than Michael Jackson, and Michael Jackson. It was people like Michael Jackson, and Madonna, and bands like Tom Petty and those guys. They made MTV.
Yeah, well, when Michael Jackson moonwalked on TV, that set off like a firestorm across. That literally changed the music. Kind of like the Beatles did. It was a big. He was a worldwide sensation.
And it got me thinking, because when you were talking about horror movies and you were talking about, that Scandinavian movie, it's like today, like I'll listen to the radio, you know, and I listen to a certain station because I like the morning show on that station. I listen to that. But then when they start playing music, I hear these new rock songs, and I'm just like, what the fuck is this? This isn't rock, you know. And I'm always like, the bands I love to listen to are bands from like Scandinavia or Italy, you know, those type of bands. You know, Nightwish, Lacuna Coil, Hammerfall, all those bands, you know, that have most of them like Hammerfall. I love Hammerfall because it's like they're hard rock and the guy sounds like Dio. And I'm sorry, anybody that sounds like Dio is fucking.
Dio is a childhood favorite. Since I have an older brother who like worshipped Dio, like it was his favorite singer of all time. So I heard a lot of Dio growing up, like all of it, and I've always been a big. As a matter of fact, I almost lost. I had to make sure at C2E2 and Spin had the
your Dio pin, yeah.
I have my commemorative Ronnie James Dio pin on my comic bag, and I had to take it off and put it in the bag so I wouldn't lose it because I kept dropping pins everywhere.
But then
I don't want to lose all these other ones. I don't give a shit. I can't lose my Dio one.
No, but then bands like Nightwish, Epica. These type of bands, they have female singers, and what I love about it is and I have to have this argument all the time. I kind of do it to get under people's skin at work, because I got a lot of people at work that are fans of Beyonce, and they're like, "Oh, Beyonce's the greatest singer in the world." I'm sitting there going, "No, why don't you go listen to some of these female front women in some of these rock bands from Europe who can hit like 5 octaves."
I would say Beyonce's not even the best singer in California.
No, but I'm like, go listen to these ones that can hit 5 octaves. They're classically trained. They have opera roots, and they're bringing it to this rock, this metal, and it's just these girls that can do the death rattle and do the death metal, sometimes better than the men can. It's so awesome. I fucking love it, man. I'm just like, yeah. And then of course, all of a sudden I'm like, oh look, a K-pop video. Must watch.
It's so weird how like terrestrial radio is now, and I say terrestrial radio because there's satellite radio now, which is space radio essentially. But the terrestrial radio, like the regular radio in your car that you listen to, it's so different now. For one thing, there's a ton more commercials. It's just
ton of commercials.
Nothing but commercials the whole time. Like I've been in my car driving just to the other side of town and have not even heard a song. Just switching through every station is that commercial all the way across the dial. But what does surprise me is stuff that when I was a kid, like I would never even when I was a kid, I never even thought I'd hear Motley Crue on the radio. That's how heavy metal and hard rock shit was looked at in the early 80s. There was a big satanic panic at the time. Everybody thought everybody's kids were playing Dungeons and Dragons and getting possessed by the devil with heavy metal music because there was some idiots committed suicide and were into Ozzy Osbourne's Suicide Solution or Judas Priest's song. So there were a handful of suicides from some mentally unstable kids back in the day. So it kind of started this panic, our kids are all getting possessed by the devil and killing themselves, and all taking drugs because of this music. So there was this real stigma against heavy metal, in the early '80s. A lot of it. I never thought, even when I was a kid growing up, and I had an older brother, so I was into all this shit early, a lot earlier than other kids my age. So I was wearing Motley Crue T-shirts to grade school, and so I was way into metal and stuff early on, and there was this. That people did look at you like you were some kind of murderer or something back then if you wore a rock T-shirt. And I never thought. And the other day I'm driving down the road. To make a long story short, get to the point. The other day I'm driving back from the other side of town, and Blackened comes on the radio, and I was Blackened by Metallica off the Injustice for All. Probably my favorite song on that whole album. It kicks in so heavy, and it's just such an awesome driving song. And that came on the radio, and I thought, holy shit, I never thought I'd see the day that I would be driving down the road and on the regular fucking family radio station, fucking Blackened by Metallica is playing.
It's like the day I heard Fade to Black on the radio. I was like, oh my god, they're playing Fade to Black, which is those early albums, Injustice for All, Kill 'Em All, Ride the Lightning, Master of Puppets. Those are like my favorite albums, you know. And I like Black Album, but really everything before the Black Album, you know, the Cliff Burton age. Other than Injustice for All, because that's when Jason Newsted came on, you know, took over after Cliff.
Well, I mean, he was Garage Days was great too. Like his audition, and like that's kind of his kind of getting to play with the band and get comfortable with him was doing the Garage Days thing, I believe, and that was just amazing. That just album of covers is one of my favorite things they ever did.
Anesthesia, Pulling Teeth. I don't give a damn what anybody says. If you're sitting there going, oh, well, that guy's just a bass player, or that you don't think bass players can handle a song, go listen to Anesthesia, Pulling Teeth off of freaking Kill 'Em All.
That's one of the things that changed about that band that I didn't like on the Black Album, because there was like
no instrumental song.
Yeah, exactly. And like Cliff was a big driving force in a lot of those instrumentals early on. Mm-hmm. And then like you had To Live Is to Die on Injustice for All, which had Jason Newsted on it, but it was I believe that Cliff Burton had something to do with the writing. Like he contributed lyrics to it or some the only words in it.
Orion on Master of Puppets.
Yeah, that
Call of Cthulhu.
Call of Cthulhu, like all the instrumental songs I used to love to death. And then they stopped doing that, and then it just seemed like they were playing these like, we're gonna play these radio hit type tunes for like 15 years, 20 years.
We don't even acknowledge Saint Anger. We do not. We don't acknowledge Saint Anger.
I was pretty impressed with Death Magnetic when it came out. I thought Death Magnetic was really good.
Their newest one is really fucking good. The newest one is back to roots, I think, and it's really, I love it. I enjoy it.
Well, that's what I think they made that a point. When Robert Trujillo joined the band, I think he made it a point, and I think he stepped into Robert Trujillo stepped in like he belonged there. Jason Newsted said he always never felt like he belonged. He felt like he was kind of picked on, and he never really belonged with that band, even though he was awesome with that band, and I loved it.
Really good.
But when Robert Trujillo joined the band, he stepped in there like, I've been in Suicidal, I've been in Infectious Grooves, you're not going to fucking boss me around. Yeah, you're not going to boss me around, and you're not going to be big shots with me. And that's kind of how he stepped into it, and I think that gave them their balls back a little bit, and that's why they're like, well, fuck yeah, we could still rock. And the last couple things they've done have been really good.
Because, I mean, when I grew up, it was, you know, we had Metallica. Of course, music, when I was actually at that, you know, age in school where, you know, music was getting important, that was when, like, Nirvana hit it big and Green Day was coming up on the scene. You know, I mean, I had, like, early Green Day albums people don't even know, you know, they wouldn't even think was a Green Day album, because most people, the first, you know, they're either the new Green Day. Of course, I always loved Basket Case. I always thought Basket Case was a great fucking song. But then we had Rammstein. And then, you know, we had Marilyn Manson. And then sadly, to your point about the 80s with everybody looking at you, you know, we had Columbine happen when I was in high school. And I'm not downplaying anything that happened, because that was an atrocity. But anybody that wore band shirts, like a Metallica shirt or a Manson or Suicidal Tendencies, anything like that, we were like, the teachers were like scared. They thought we were part of that, like what was going on with that, and we couldn't wear those to school anymore. They outlawed them. They're like, you cannot wear these shirts to school anymore. You cannot wear Metallica shirts. You cannot wear any music shirt. Unless it's like Britney Spears or New Kids on the Block.
That is so bizarre to me. And like, well, now I think people are asserting their rights more and saying, bullshit, we're going to wear what we want. Yeah. And, I mean, I blew my mind when people were telling me that you couldn't wear certain, like, I would go, when I was in high school, I seriously would wear like death metal shirts that were like the most offensive shit. Like me and my friends would like have mail order catalogs and look in these catalogs, because they had a shirt place at the mall, and we knew the girl that worked there was my buddy's girlfriend, and we would get the actual catalog of the different T-shirts you could buy from the different companies, the different like apparel companies that had the different bands signed to them, and so we'd get to look through all of them, and they would have some like real offensive shit like they would never sell like in a regular store, like you could buy from the bands, and me and my buddy, we would buy that shit and we'd wear it to school. Like I had the completely uncensored Cannibal Corpse shirt where the zombies eating the other zombie out on the cover. I used to wear that to school, and I had a Deicide shirt that I wore all the time that had the whole back of it was just the Trifiction like inverted cross thing with the pentagram in it, like the whole back of it. And like I would wear that shit to school, and like I hear now, if you wore something like that, you'd just be thrown right out. You couldn't even walk in the door with that shit.
I had the Metallica. One side was like the back was Ride the Lightning, and it was the dude in the electric chair.
Yeah,
you know, the
I've had that.
The glow in the dark. But on the front, it was the metal up the ass, and it was the toilet with the hand coming up out of the toilet with the knife in it. Fuck, couldn't wear that shit. Could not wear that shit. You know, but what's real funny is nowadays you go to Walmart or Target, and all these bands that we couldn't wear their shirts to school are now out there, and these kids, you know, these young kids are buying AC/DC shirts. They're buying Guns N' Roses, Metallica, and I'm sitting there going, you know, half of them they buy the shirt because it looks cool, and or they're getting them and they got like the cut at the neck or whatever, you know, they're tank tops. But it's like they don't know anything about the music of these bands. You know, they know nothing about the music. They just get the shirt because it looks, Guns N' Roses. That's
a lot of people's parents like play that stuff around them and they just know it.
Yeah, I mean, like my son knows, you know, like because the only thing on the radio, I find there's a station I like, and it's all '80s music. So it's like it's Phil Collins, it's Aha, you know, it's Tears for Fears, but they'll play like Metallica or Kansas or, you know, some classic rock. He's a huge Foreigner fan. He loves frickin' Foreigner. You know, and he loves Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers.
Take that, Lou Graham.
Yeah, take that, motherfucker. But it's just, I honestly just feel like with music, like we would have, like a lot of music, like MTV2 is where I first found Kitty, which was one of my all-time favorite bands when I was in high school was Kitty. This hard, black rock female band from Canada. And I remember going to HF Festival here in D.C., and they were supposed to play on, like, the street stage. There was, like, 3 stages, the local stage, the street stage, and the main stage. They were supposed to play, like, the street stage. And the rumor was, they ended up not playing, and I hated it because I had, like, this sign that's, like, for the guitarist for, I think it's Talia was her name. Huge crush on that girl. But the rumor was they were supposed to play, and also Slipknot was supposed to play that same concert, and both of them had to back out because they got sick. And the rumor was the lead singer of Kitty gave a Hummer to Corey from Slipknot and got sick because of it. That was the rumor going around the concert. I did get to see the Cult though. And that was pretty fucking cool to see the Cult, because they played right before Incubus. So everybody was there to see Incubus. They were like, oh, we're going to see Incubus. I'm like the only motherfucker wearing a Cult shirt, you know? And they're up there and they're singing, and I get up crowd surfing. I wasn't as heavy then. And I'm crowd surfing, and the lead singer of the Cult looks out in the crowd. He sees that I'm the only Cult shirt in the entire fucking sea of people is mine, and I'm on the fucking crowd surfing. He just goes, that motherfucker right there, it's a fucking fan. That dude's fucking hardcore. He's fucking awesome. And I'm just sitting there like, fuck yeah, rock on, motherfuckers.
One of the coolest things I ever saw was like, I don't know, like anybody listens to anymore, is when I saw Metallica on the Justice Tour. So that was by far one of the coolest things I've ever seen. Yeah. Just everything Justice back was everything they played. So it was like the ultimate concert for me. But
when they could actually have the gunfire and the explosions for one.
Yeah, that was loud. The first like in '88 when I saw it, man, that was fucking loud. And they turned like all the lights out, so all you saw was these bright flashes. And but before that, one of the cool things was opening for Metallica that night was Queensryche. Queensryche showed up, and they did. With a big screen like Pink Floyd, they did the entire Operation Mindcrime album. They played the whole thing from beginning to end.
Nice.
Before Metallica came out, and like nobody else was into it. Like me and my brother and a few people were like into it. A lot of, like the place wasn't even full yet. Like people were waiting for Metallica and coming in late, and it was like kind of empty when they started. But like we were having a great time. Like Jeff Tate from Queensryche pointed at us when they got done. He pointed like right to our corner where we were sitting. And when he was leaving.
Well, with that, let's go ahead. Let's take a pause for the cause, and let's talk about our great sponsor, Fodor. Hey, Chief, you know those great banners I make for the show every single week?
Yeah, I just saw the new one, the Thanos one.
You know how I'm creating those banners?
I've got an idea, but why don't you tell everybody?
We're using Photor. That's right, Photor Web, an online photo editing service. You can edit your photos. You can do collages. You can design your own banners for everything that you do in your daily lives, whether it's YouTube, whether it's Twitch, whether you're creating that banner or poster for maybe the work potluck. You can use it. You can do it all on Photor. They got some stickers. They got stickers. They've got animations. They've got tools for you to be able to take your creation to the next level. Transparency tools, background templates, you name it, Photor has it. The graphic design feature of Photor Web is a one-stop shop for marketers, bloggers, and social media aficionados. Hey, that's us. Allowing anyone the ability to create their own graphics content and share on social media. This Photor Web has been a top developer awarded by Google and Facebook Messenger, has received media coverage from BBC, Lifehacker, and many more. Not only can you use Photor on your desktop, both your PC and your Mac, but you can also get the Photor mobile app on iTunes and the Google Play Store, iOS and Android. So go to www.photor.com today to download Photor. And just for you, our listeners, Photor is giving you a free 1-month pass for their pro account programming. That's right, 1 month free on Photor and on us, the Nerd Rage Renegades. We are giving back to you. 100% free for 1 month.
That's right.
Can't
it's pretty good. It's free. And if you go to our Twitter and what they got to do? They got to go and like something, comment on it.
What we want you to do is we want you to go to Twitter on Wednesday. That's for the show, or whenever you listen to this. Go to Twitter, pop a comment on the pinned post, which will be this episode. Pop a comment on there, and we will shoot you a code for the 1 month free of Photor. If you love to make collages, if you love to tweak with selfie pictures, Facebook pictures, Instagram photos, anything like that, this is the program for you. It's what I use to create all the banners every single week, and now we're giving back to you. So all you got to do, go to Twitter, find the pinned post for this episode, and just leave us a comment, and we will send you a code for 1 month free of Photor's premium application.
That's right, and you can go in there and screw around with it for a month, and if you like it, then you can subscribe to it.
Exactly. Once again, all you got to do, twitter.com, go to the pinned post, and put a comment, and the code is yours, courtesy of Photor.com and your boys here at the Nerd Rage Renegades podcast.
That's right.
Music memories.
Indeed. I also, I saw a lot of the 90s bands that aren't even around anymore. I got to see a lot of when I was younger. And I was in my 20s, kind of like in the 90s, like later 90s. But I saw Soundgarden and I saw Lollapalooza in '92, which was Pearl Jam on the 10 album, the first album. It was Soundgarden on Bad Motorfinger. Ice Cube was there. Let's see who else. Red Hot Chili Peppers were there. Ministry played. And man, it was just the Ministry show was awesome. And I saw Soundgarden play Cop Killer, I've seen Soundgarden a few times. With Chris Cornell, who recently passed, which is kind of a bummer. One of the best voices I ever heard live, actually. Like the guy could really sing like that. Like the way you hear him on the albums, that's what they sounded like when you go see them. It wasn't any bullshit about it. Chris Cornell could fucking wail, and I've seen him like 3 times, and they were great every time. I saw Blind Melon with Shannon Hoon when he was still alive before he died, and that guy was another guy. I think Shannon Hoon of Blind Melon's one of the most underrated 90s singers that ever was. That guy could really fucking wail. And if you get a chance, go on YouTube and look at his Woodstock 94, the Blind Melon set from Woodstock 94, because that's just an intense, crazy deal where he's like just tripping on mushrooms or something. I don't know. And but he doesn't miss a fucking note of any song, just wails like crazy. And he comes out like cross-dressed. He's like got makeup on and like a dress. And he comes out and he does the whole show. I don't know if he's on heroin or if he's on some kind of psychedelics. But Shannon Hoon is so fucked up through the whole thing, but he doesn't miss a single note in any song. Just nails it, the whole set. So if you get a chance, go check that out. But he was great live. I saw him. I seen. I didn't get to see Sublime. Wish I could have saw Sublime once, but I never got to see them. Did not get to see Nirvana. I had a chance. The bummer thing is I had heard that Nirvana, before Kurt Cobain committed suicide, I had heard that Nirvana was supposed to play Lollapalooza coming up. There was a Lollapalooza coming up, and I heard that they were going to play, and it was going to be later on in the year, and some friends of mine got Nirvana tickets to a club in Chicago, and my friend said, "Hey, you got to come with us. We bought you a ticket. We bought you a ticket to see Nirvana." And I was doing something. And I was like, "Man, I can't make it. I can't go." I said, "But I've already got plans to go see them when they play this festival this summer." And then before any of that happened, Kurt Cobain committed suicide, and I never got to see Nirvana, and I really wanted to. And my buddies that went would still rub it into me. They after that, like a buddy of mine, he took it, like Kurt Cobain threw his red sweater out into the crowd, and everybody just ripped it to shreds. And a buddy of mine got a big handful of Kurt Cobain's sweater that he wore that night, and he still had it, and he brought it, he'd show it to me. He's like, "Hey man, this is what you missed," and he had a big handful of Kurt Cobain sweater. I was like, "Oh man!"
And you could sell that for like $800 on eBay right now.
Oh, I don't know. I'm sure that was probably meant a lot to him. He probably still got it.
I remember I got to see Cypress Hill, which was the most fucking insane mosh pit I had ever fucking been in. Was Cypress Hill, to the point I had to. Okay, so we were there. It was the mosh pit for Cypress Hill. I was in the mosh pit with this girl. I saw
Cypress Hill too. Yeah. They were at Lollapalooza.
So there was this girl from another high school, and I ended up hooking up with her at the concert. Not hook up like the kids say hook up these days. I'm talking like we got together and actually dated for like a week. But I was with her, and we were in the mosh pit, and she was getting pummeled, dude, in the mosh pit. Me, you know what, bigger guy, I can throw my fucking punches in the mosh pit. But she was getting pummeled because she was this tiny little thing. So I was like, all right, let me get you out of this mosh pit. So I'm trying to get her out of the mosh pit, and the security guards, they couldn't get to her in time, because they patrol the mosh pits and stuff. And so this one dude who was fucking high off his fucking ass, I don't know what he was on, but he would not let her out of the mosh pit. I'm telling him, let her through. She needs to get out of here. And he's like, fuck you. So I fucking kicked him in his fucking head. I didn't know him then, but I channeled Chief for this 1 minute when I was young. Before it was like future self going back and saying, what would Chief do? And I kicked this dude in the head, and he goes down bloodied. And I just got her out, and I looked at the security guard. I said, yeah, there's a dude in there. His face is fucking bloodied. He's like, what happened? I'm like, I don't know. He's in mosh pit, whatever, That was fucking nuts. I saw Live, great show by Live. I saw The Cult, Incubus, Linkin Park, Good Charlotte, which me and a buddy of mine are in the Good Charlotte music video for Festival Song for 0.5 seconds. Our claim to fame, 0.5 seconds in the music video for Festival Song.
I'm in a Pantera home video concert supposedly somewhere. They filmed the concert I was at for that.
Who else played those? There was so many bands that I got to see at HF Festival. And then I remember going to the Vans Warped Tour one year. And the only ones I knew that were there, because Vans Warped Tour was a lot more of the punk skater bands. But I did see Alien Ant Farm. And I was they were playing their songs. I'm like, fuck you! Play Smooth Criminal! I'm like, fuck you, play the Michael Jackson song! Oh man! But I remember, one of the best ones I ever saw. I went with a buddy of mine, Paul, and we went to first. We went to the 930 Club in DC, and we saw SR-71, and they were kind of like that alternative pop music, pop rock, but they were really fucking cool. To the point after their song, they came down. They signed autographs for everybody that was waiting in line, and then they were at HF Festival, and they had these tents set up where the bands would chill out, and you could just come up and get autographs. And we went up there, and we were like, yeah, we saw you at the 930 Club. And they looked and said, You were you were the two guys that like waited forever, right? You were like the last ones in line to get your tickets or whatever. And we were like, yeah, and they like sat there and bullshitted with us for a couple minutes because they remembered how long we waited to get their autographs. So that was really fucking cool, man. I'm telling you, music is today is just it's not the same as it was, man.
Oh, going to concerts isn't even the same as it. No. Like you used to be able to do. It used to be so much more fun when you could get away with a lot more concerts than you can now. Too many people have done some too much crazy bullshit in big public places for anybody to get away with anything.
I still say you and me, Barry Manilow. It's got to happen. You and me.
I did see Bob Dylan and Paul Simon together. That was awesome. I saw one time at Alpine Valley up in Wisconsin, which it holds like 40,000 people, I think. I saw the Clash of the Titans tour, which was Alice in Chains opening up the whole show on their first album, and then and we were like 10 rows from Alice in Chains. Like Lane Staley was like, there was nobody in the pavilion, nobody even heard of Alice in Chains, and me and my brother and a friend of his were sitting there in the middle, like 10 rows away from Lane Staley, and he's like singing, like basically just singing right to us while we're sitting there, and then after them was I think it was Megadeth was next. Megadeth opened, and then Slayer, and then Anthrax closed the show.
That's a good show.
The original Anthrax with Joey Belladonna too. The old it was on the Persistence of Time tour. So it was Anthrax was on Persistence of Time. I think Megadeth was on Rust in Peace. And Slayer was on Seasons in the Abyss tour. And it was like, man, that was you want to talk about a violent pit the most violent thing I've ever seen in my life was like 30,000 people, the whole fucking lawn of Alpine Valley, the entire thing, just fucking dust churning up, like dust devils. People just fucking stomped the shit out of that lawn. And it was just violence everywhere, just complete violence, madness. You'd never seen anything like the Slayer pit. Slayer's the band people yell at other bands. That's how intense the Slayer show is. People yell Slayer at other bands. And one of the funniest things I ever saw was at a Pantera show, somebody yelled Slayer at Phil Anselmo, and Dimebag Darrell started playing the Slayer tune, and they started really playing Slayer, and it was fucking awesome.
Well, let's switch gears here to talk. We got to get our GTA talking in, and this week is actually going to be really interesting because not only are we going to talk GTA, but I'm in there now.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I'm in there. So this weekend, and I got to give a huge thanks to my beautiful, loving other half, my beautiful wife, who paid for half of it. I now have, sitting here next to me, a Beast God computer machine. I was able to get a CyberPower PC with a Intel i7 core, massive amounts of processing power, massive amounts of memory, great graphics card to where I can now do GTA RP. You've been hearing us talk about it for like a year, and I'm finally in there. On a public server, which is fucking chaos.
Yeah, we've got some plans for that coming up too. That's going to be fun. If we get the stuff going that we want to get done with it, it's going to be cool because it'll be more like a show, similar along the lines of what Djibouti does, but like our own thing, of course. But the streams will be more like a show than just a streaming thing.
Yeah.
We'll package it together more like that, so it's more entertaining.
So I've done 2 streams with this new machine. One was Worldcraft. That was the first night I did World of Warcraft, and that was just to kind of test the computer out, just see how it runs. I did some classic dungeons and stuff like that, just to kind of see how it was. And what I really enjoyed was I've played World of Warcraft for a long time. I just went back into it. This is the first time, like maybe a year and a half, that I went back into it. Really weird that I'm still in the same guild. They hadn't kicked me out, and somehow they made me a guild officer. I'm like, I haven't played in a year and a half. How the fuck am I a guild officer? But to actually be able to play it with the graphics where they're supposed to be, and no lag and no dropping frame rates, felt really good. So then I was like, I'm going to get on GTA and try that out. And being new to it, I can't get on a whitelist server yet. I have to get on a public server and just play with the public. And the public are not the best RPers.
No.
Let's put it that way. They're not. They're not your upper tier RPers. You get a couple every once in a while. But a lot of, like we used to, like Djibouti used to find out when we would watch them, a lot of kids on the public servers.
Yeah.
And they don't adhere to RP a lot. They constantly are calling out, fail RP, fail RP. Me, I'm in there. I'm in character the whole time I'm in there. If I'm on the server, I'm in character the whole fucking time.
I don't think there's anything you can do that's too ridiculous as long as you maintain character.
Yeah.
If you don't start laughing, if you don't crack, if you stick to your story, no matter how ridiculous it fucking is, that's good RP. Like if you could get through it. Look at there's nobody in the world could do what Bill Ding does. Bill Ding dives off overpasses and survives and runs away. And will roll a bus off a fucking overpass or the highway and just drive it up off a mountain. And he doesn't, and he comes back to life. I mean, and he's the most ridiculous dude. He's almost like a spirit. He's like the spirit of chaos. He's like almost like Loki. And he's in that world, and everyone knows who he is, and they respect his RP because Milton does not fucking crack. Never. Never cracks.
And I think people are, like, the people on this server that I'm on, I've been on there, I was on there 2 nights ago, and then I've been on there twice today. I got on this morning, and I was actually on right before we started the show tonight. I popped on there for about an hour just to see if I can get some RP. I didn't stream today. I streamed the other day. My mic's a little off on that one. My mic is bad in that stream. I admit that. I'm trying to find the right balance for my mic. Apparently, in-game it's fine. Nobody's, like, this server, if your microphone is bad, they freaking yell at you. Apparently, I guess my microphone's not bad in-game. It's just on the stream. So it might be something with my calibration with my OBS for that. But Astrid Walker, my character, she lives. And Chief was like, I showed you a picture this morning. You were like, she's got a motorcycle now?
Yeah.
So I'm RPing that because on this server there's no money. Like, there is no money. Like, you role play, like, you type / and text like, oh, I give you like $1 for this or something like that. There's no like actual money. Very basic server. So Astrid's player model and everything very basic right now. If I ever get on a whitelist server with some more things to it, I'll be able to really make her what I want her to be. I like the avatar that I've got for her, but there's like things I want to add to it. But so people are finding out exactly who she is, and she's getting a little. Like tonight, there was a guy that, when I was playing tonight, first of all, tonight there was like one cop on the server. So all these little kids are just going nuts because there's like one cop. And I found this one guy I found another female character in the game. I was like, oh, cool, another female character. Of course, dude's not doing any voice. It's a male voice coming out of that chick. And I was like, what's your name? He's like, oh, Adam. I'm like, your character's name is Adam. I broke character for a second. I was like, your character's name is Adam? He goes, oh, people were like, yeah, what's your character's name? So I picked something I could remember, which was my own name. I'm like, well, my name is Astrid. My character's name is Astrid. And it's funny because I'm doing, it's me, but I'm doing a voice, I'm making I'm kind of softening my voice up a little bit to be more feminine for this character because I want it to be good RP. So this morning when I'm playing, I ended up getting shot. I was standing outside the convenience store talking to other role players, and some dude just came and sniped me for no apparent reason, just shot me, right? So the EMS comes on, and the EMS is like a teenager, right? Takes me to the hospital. And the EMS is like, doctor, yeah, she was shot in the chest, in the abdomen, wanted to get her out. All of a sudden you hear, my God, she got shot. Well, let's take a look here. Let's see what's happened with her. And the guy was like, the guy doing the EMS was like, oh my God, your voice is like heaven. So tonight, Adam, the other chick, she got shot. Or no, she got ran over. So I got her, and I took her to the hospital, and I was like, my God, my name is Doc Brown. I'm the doctor. Let's take a look at you here now. And he was cracking, like, he broke character. He cracking up, like, what the fuck? I'm like, I'm doing Dr. RP. You know, I told my wife this. I'm like, watching Djibouti and Milton and Disby and all these guys for so long, like I've picked up things. You know, I've picked up RP things, and I'm bringing them to the server. But these people have no fucking clue it's coming. You know, like one dude tried to fuck.
That's why they left. That's why they all left and went to a private one, because people are dicks.
Yeah. Like, the biggest thing with Astrid is her bike, and the way I'm role playing it to the bike, because I'm role playing Astrid's parents died when she was 9 in a fire, and this bike, she ended up getting some money when she, you know, became on her own from her parents, like inheritance and stuff. So she bought this bike. So this bike is like the last, you know, this bike is like a present from her parents, even though her parents are dead. So if anybody tries to fuck with the bike, she goes fucking mad. Like, you don't touch the fucking bike. And tonight I've actually, like, one guy, he's in this big fucking truck, and I'm sitting there on the bike at the gas station gassing up. He's like, "Get out of the way, you fucking bike rider." And I was just like, "I'll bite your fucking face off." You know, he was like, "What?" I'm like, "I will tear into your flesh."
Well, see, like, the idea I've got is when you eventually get to be EMS, whenever you've got a patient, you just, like, mumble, like, just really weird medical facts to them, like, that are creepy, like, just very low cholesterol levels that are associated with violence. It's like, say shit like that. Or, like, they can't make artificial blood, you know.
Like, the only other thing with this server is, I don't know if the developers are building it up or what, but the only, like, they have, like, an AOP, the area of play. Like, the city is empty. There's not even, like, any NPCs in this whole fucking server. There's no NPCs. Everybody is in Sandy Shores. So all the stuff happens around the Blaine County Sheriff's Office there in Sandy Shores. And I'm trying to RP. Like, I got handcuffed tonight. Like, an officer got hit by this car. Now, my character being EMS in training, I went over to see, I was like, "Do you need some assistance?" Well, this other cop shows up, points his gun at me, and says, "Hands up," because he thought I hit the cop. And this other dude was like, "Yeah, she pulled a gun out. She pulled a gun out." I'm sitting there going, and I actually said in game, I was like, "Are you fucking serious?" Yep. So the guy, like, I didn't know how to, like, my X button I thought was, like, to put your hands up, but because usually that's the way it is, but on this server you actually have to put in a command. So I'm like, if you could tell me how to put my hand, you know, I'm trying to do it in RP, like, I'm having problems putting my hands up. Can you help me? You know, I'm trying to RP that I don't know this server's command to put my hands up right now. So luckily the police officer caught on, but he handcuffed me, and then the dude who ran over the previous police officer came and ran me over, and I'm like, "You fucking see? It's fucking chaos, dude. It's chaos," but, and, like, I don't break character. Like, I don't break character whatsoever. I have not broken character. Like the way you spawn vehicles on this is there's a command to spawn the vehicle. So, like, if my vehicle gets fucked up, I will drive it to the garage, and they're not operable. You know, it's not like on the Family where you drive into the garage, you pay to get it fixed, you know, that type of thing.
Yeah.
The garages aren't operable, but I'll still drive to the fucking garage to fucking act like I'm fixing it up. You know, I'm staying in character with the RP because eventually I want to get on a whitelist server to where I can actually have good RP instead of chaos.
Yeah, you just gotta apply to the Family. That's the thing.
Sadly, right now applications are closed for the Family unless you want to be a cop, and I don't want to be a cop. So I have to wait for the public server to come on, but hopefully maybe I'll be able to, like, after I get a little bit more under my belt, I could get on, like, maybe No Pixel, or even if Jam Jar's old server is still up and running, I wouldn't mind getting on that one.
Here's a good fact for you for if you actually want to do it. You can actually extrapolate on this and make it like your revenge on somebody. Dopaminergic agents that treat a variety of conditions, including restless leg syndrome, can cause otherwise ordinary people to become gambling addicts. If somebody pissed you off, you could just start feeding them dopaminergic agents until they became a gambling addict and lose their whole life.
Well, like, I've also played it, like, Astrid's a lesbian. All right, that's why I'm playing her, is that she's a lesbian, but she's not, like relationships not really her thing, you know? She's more about herself and plus whatever the fucking thing in her head is, because she's not all there. But this one dude was, like, calling me, he's, like, there, and he's like, "Oh, yeah, this is my girlfriend," and all that, and he kept calling me different names. He's like, "Oh, yeah, this is Ashley." I'm like, It's Astrid. Oh, this is Jessica. The name is Astrid. So I looked at Adam again, who's we were with. I'm like, you either tell him to learn my name or I will fucking carve it into his fucking chest. Like, showing that she's a good girl, but you fuck with her, and this other part of her, like, psyche comes out. Like, this fucking demented fucking bitch comes out. I'm loving it. It's so much fucking fun. We need to get you on there so you could be because on that server you could be Charles Bronson all day. As long as you stay in character,
everybody.
As long as you stay in character and you have a plan and you don't fail RP, dude, you could be fucking Bronson all you fucking want.
Sure would be a shame if someone robbed me with all this cash in my pockets.
Oh, there was one dude. Like, there was a guy who was actually doing like convenience store RP, right? Like, he was, like, you see in like the people in the family. There's those certain people that do, kind of like Penta does the the corrections officer RP. They find other things in the city that are not really taken, that people aren't doing, and they create it to make a better story, like that type of thing. So this one dude was doing convenience store worker RP, and this one dude just kept coming in there and trying to rob it. And when he would get taken out by this, because this, anybody in there, he would respawn, come back in and try to rob it again. He would not roleplay what happens in the scenario, to the point that he shot me, and the cops come in and they're like out of character trying to explain what was going on, what was the scenario, and we're all like, there was no scenario. He tried to rob the store, we shot him. We took him out because he was trying to rob the store, and then he just respawned. He wouldn't play the scene, and I'm on the ground like, can you just fucking RP that I got shot and you could fucking help me? The cops on the server, man.
They should boot people that don't do it right.
They did. They ended up booting them. They ended up booting them. There's some good people on the server. I'm having some fun with, like, the little group that I found that will actually RP. I'm enjoying it. I'm having a lot of fun with it. It's
all that early Djibouti stuff was all public stuff. Like, some of the funniest shit was with Joe Mullet and just the public server. Well, it's also, I think people in the public server are taken more off guard by shit like Joe Mullet. It's not the people that are in like the family. They've seen it all. Like, they've seen every kind of character come in.
Yeah.
Nothing shocks them. They can react to anything. But, like, it used to be funny to watch other characters break when you'd see Joe Mullet. Like,
that's what I'm having fun with.
Joe Mullet not breaking in there, they can't hang with him.
That's what I'm having fun with, taking people to the hospital and then doing doctor RP, and just them breaking because I'm doing this doctor, and I'm like, do you have any nausea, any pain? Do you have a headache? Are you seeing weird little pink creatures running around your head? And they're breaking because they've never had somebody actually RP the doctors before. I'm just like, I'm enjoying it. So I've got Astrid. I'm gonna play Astrid for quite a while. She's my main, but I kind of want to create some like a hobo character or some other type characters just to break up the monotony.
I think
maybe
you should
my crazy
do
old prospector.
A washed up '90s rapper that still
do my Vanilla Ice.
Yeah, make a Vanilla Ice character.
I want to do.
But you became a street vigilante. Like, you go around like trying to solve people's problems with rap music.
See, with me, I'm thinking like if I did like a wash up '90s rapper, I'd somehow Willie B. Blowin would keep getting into my head, and then I'd have to teach him manners, But I'm having fun with it. I mean, I can't wait to see where this journey takes me in the RP world. With this new machine, it's just the sky's the limit. So if you keep an eye out on the Twitch, if you follow us on Twitch, Nerd Rage Renegades on Twitch, you just keep looking out for that. If you haven't, please go follow us on Twitch. The more people we have following us and the more people we have watching these streams when I stream, actually leads to us possibly, hopefully, becoming Twitch partners, which would open up a big world for the shows. And now that I have this machine, this new computer, it's going to make it so we could actually take this podcast to Twitch live, so you all will be able to interact with us live when we record. And I think that will just be a fantastic thing.
That would be fun to be able to do live stuff. We've done live stuff before, but it'd be more fun to do.
It's so much fun to do live stuff. So we'll be able to do that. But give us a follow on Twitch. That way, whenever I do stream, you'll be able to see it. I'll be streaming, if I do stream, it'll be a couple nights a week, when I'm not editing and things like that. But I want to bring you guys some awesome RP. You'll get to see me do my voice for Astrid, and how she kind of interacts with everything. And then hopefully one day we'll get Chief on there, either as a character or as my duo, feeding me awesome lines and stuff like that. And just having fun.
That's what I think would be fun. If it's going to be a while before I'm actually in game, then it'll be fun to just be on it together and be able to make it more of a show than just a stream.
Yeah, and we're gonna figure out how to do that. So, and so I do want to give out this week's streamer of the week. It's been slow for GTA because Conan Exiles has been out, and everybody's been doing Conan Exiles. But I really think we should.
There was some good VR stuff this week, but I haven't got a chance to watch any of it. I know I watched a little bit of the Star Trek one, but I haven't seen anything else.
And that's why I want to give this week's streamer of the week to Milton T. Pike.
He got his VR finally.
Finally got his VR. He got the Star Trek. He played Star Trek with them, and then he did get into VR chat with them with the Pen Gang.
Yeah, I've got to see that yet. I saw the Farp to Work class. He was going to boot him out of the room for not using his mic right. that's as far as I've gotten in the Star Trek.
They ended up doing the Kermit RP. They all went and became Kermit the Frog, and they did Kermit RP. But Milton he's a fantastic streamer. His characters on GTA, like Bill Ding, who brings us
probably my second favorite of all of everybody. He's my number 2 for sure. What I watch on Twitch.
He does Bill Ding, Kiki Chanel, Gloria, Merlin. He's the Ding of the North in Conan Exiles. He rules the North. He is the Ding of the North.
I love the Djibouti show because my favorite thing is Milton on the Djibouti show because I like the way they do their show just with the 3 or 4 guys in the room and they joke throughout. That's where I steal that from because they say theirs is more like a show and not just a constant stream every day.
Right.
It's more of an event when they get together and do it. And the best thing is when Milton is on their stream, the way they edit everything together. And Milton is Bill Ding. Even though Djibouti is my favorite stream, Bill Ding is my favorite character of all time. And in all of RP, he is by far the king of RP.
His is fantastic. Like I said, if I had to put my top 3, it's Djibouti, Disby, and Milton are my top 3. My dream, this is my dream, and I don't know if it'll ever become reality, but my dream is to one day RP with those guys and gal with Disby. It's just, I would love to see.
They open that up public, you'll be able to.
Oh yeah, I can't. I'll be on there if they open up whenever they open up the public server. Astrid will be there because I honestly feel Astrid with Disby's character Pennywise would be a fantastic combination because Pennywise is naive. She acts tough, but she's naive. In my opinion, and then you have Astrid, who will she's sweet, but then she'll just go fucking psycho.
Dude, you got so many good ones you could do, man. You could do Paul Lynde, create a Paul Lynde looking character.
I've got the idea for Paul Lynde. I got an idea. It's going to be, his name was Paul, it's Paul Simmons. His name is Paul Simmons. He's a Paul Lynde, Richard Simmons mashup, and he's a former actor, and his claim to fame is he was on 3 episodes of NCIS as Dead Marine number 1, Dead Navy Officer number 2, and then Dead Navy Officer number 5.
He's got to make those one-liners and just snicker to himself.
He's walking down the street just laughing to himself.
The other one I thought would be funny is for you to make like an old prospector character, like
I want
an old
the
man.
Old prospector. I also another
gold like every time I see it.
Another one I came up with. This one would probably be the darkest character. Is Dalton Fortress. Dalton Fortress is Frank Castle. That's all it fucking is, And then it would be your Bronson and my Frank Castle, And it would be, but I like Dalton Fortress. He's a former Marine. And he's just he's trying to do good, but he just sees all the crime in the city.
I think he looked like Red Brown from Robo War.
Oh, yeah, he's going to be Red Brown. It's Red Brown. Dalton Fortress is like Red Brown. He's Red Brown Punisher.
And scream like, ah!
So, I'm going to shoot you now! So, definitely. I got so many character ideas. I can't wait to get a hold of them. I love the server because I have Astrid's player models saved on the server. So, when I pop in, I click the button, Astrid pops up. I'm loving it. So, I want to once again thank you to my wife who paid for half of this thing. This was an expensive machine. I'm not going to be getting birthday or Father's Day gifts for like 2 years or more. And she said that if I argue with her for any time in the next 6 months, she's taking it away from me. So I have to be a good boy for like 6 months. But it's fantastic. I'm so happy she was she agreed to go in on this for me. And so I can't thank her enough. And I want to thank every single one of you guys for listening in today on this great show. We had so much fun. It's episode 190. We got 10 more, and we're going to be at episode 200. Make sure you come back this Thursday for the return of Renegade Reviews. We got we were out, like I said, Chief was sick last week. We weren't able to do it. This week we're going to have Renegade Reviews for you.
Oh, it was a big week. It was a big week. Good for comics, man. A lot of good stuff out this week.
Very big week. So, Crystal's going to tell you every place that we're at every single week. And, of course, on Twitter, you can follow Chief of Space, Chief75. I'm at NRDRG Renegades. Please go to the Twitch. Follow us, Nerd Rage Renegades, on the Twitch. Once again, a thank you to our sponsor, Fodor. Once again, please go to the Twitter, find the pin post, leave a comment, and we will send you a code for 1 month free of the premium pro plan for Fodor.
Yes, indeed.
So, until next time, Chief, fail RP.
Good night, everybody.
Nerd Rage Renegades.